AI killed the info space. It's dead, gone. But coaching is not. See, what happened is people were selling digital products and they thought that made them a coach. But does it really? And I'm challenging this as someone who has personally capitalized off of the info space in the last nearly decade. Like, it was commonplace to either have exclusive valuable information and then package that as a course or a program and sell that very hands off. And this is information that's like, it's not information that's impossible to be found, but it's just not super common. Or even helping people sell programs that were really just like, hey, you could find this on YouTube, but what people are buying is everything in place, in order, and just constructed towards the goal, right? But you can't really do that anymore, can you though? Because we have ChatGPT now, and Gemini, and Grok, and all these different AI tools, these language models that have access to all this information. They have access to all these YouTube videos and all these articles and all this data everywhere, right? So if somebody really wanted to get certain information all in one place and then put it in order, it would take them 5-10 minutes, maybe more if they go super deep into it, to like get all of that for themselves for free. For free. Maybe they pay for a subscription like I do and it's $20 a month, but like trying to justify a $1,000 program, $2,000 program where you're just selling information is not going to cut it anymore. And I see a lot of coaches and course creators really afraid for their business, and also some of them should be afraid. I see a lot of people taking a hit. It's because they have information businesses, not coaching businesses. So their entire business is built around selling information and not selling coaching. But the ultimate info product has dropped. It's been released, it's been out for a couple years, and that is AI. That is ChatGPT. That is Serenity or whatever, Serendipity, whatever the heck that AI platforms. These AI platforms that can answer your questions accurately, very informed, you know? These platforms that can help you achieve your goals. So selling information is not the business to be in anymore, quite frankly. It can be a useful tool in your business, and it surely can be a selling point in your business, but if information is your core product, unless you hold information that absolutely cannot be found in AI, or you can find it, but it's too complicated to understand in a pragmatic way. Unless you're in that extremely unique scenario, then like, dude, you're like, it's not gonna happen. Which is also why you see a lot of new coaches for AI and AI automations popping up, because they're teaching information about they're selling information about how to use AI. And believe me, they're gonna have a short shelf life as well. That's my prediction. But enough of that. The question is, how do you pivot? You have to actually become a coach now. Real spill. Like, you have to actually get your hands dirty and help people. You have to get involved. And selling courses was a great, like, decade and a half long cop out of needing to get your hands dirty to make a lot of money. But now you're going to have to figure out how to actually scale a coaching business. How do you become actual tutors for your customers, your students, your clients, you know? And that's something that a lot of people are having a hard time figuring out. I have the answer for you on like how you scale it. It's actually quite simple, just as simple as selling courses in a sense. But like all your selling mechanisms and your traffic mechanisms stay the same. So if you're getting traffic organically through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever, like that's fine. Keep doing that. If you're selling through a VSL or a webinar or whatever you're doing, a low ticket funnel, whatever, like that's fine. That'll work. Maybe you'll have a rough time on the low ticket funnels and the lead magnets, but like webinars, VSLs, those will always work. What you'll need to change is your approach to coaching. Like you need your core flagship product needs to now be a service as opposed to a product. Does that make sense? So instead of I'll charge you $1,000 or $2,000 or $4,000 for this course, people sign on to be coached by you actively, month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year. It's an ongoing service. And a lot of you are going to turn your nose up on that because you don't want to do the work and you're afraid of getting burned out. And if you don't want to do the work, I don't really have anything to say to you, but if you don't want to do work because you're afraid of getting burned out, I can understand that. If you're afraid of getting burned out, you just have to think about what burns you out and how do you mitigate that. And it's quite simple. So all these course selling platforms are getting a lot bigger now. Teachable is getting bigger. Gumroad has been out for years, but all of a sudden it's catching traction. What do we have? We have WAP that's getting bigger. And then we have School that is getting bigger. And let's focus in on School in particular because they focus on memberships. And people have been trying to move towards recurring revenue in the coaching space for a while. And they're doing that through School. But they're doing it the wrong way because they're copying the wrong people. See, if you actually like look at most of the communities on School, they're like hobby-based type memberships, like calligraphy and palm reading, and like it's a lot of hobby-based stuff. So they have low-priced memberships. $19 a month, $29, $39, $49, $99 even. And the standard subscription in the coaching community is anywhere between $49 a month and $200 a month for a business coach like yourself, for somebody who's helping somebody in their business, right? Whether it's real estate, whether it's sales, whether it's construction, whether it's land, whether it's an investment strategy like options trading, whether it's meat packing is one that I saw. But like you're helping somebody in their business, you can't be charging them $100 a month, $200 a month. And believe me, I'm guilty. Like I've helped people build $100 a month, $49 a month, $200 a month programs. And it's just not scalable, especially in the age of AI. And it's definitely gonna burn you out. Because if you wanna do $100,000 a month and your subscription is $100 a month to your membership, guess what? You have to retain 1,000 members every month. First you have to get to 1,000 members, which is difficult. And then you have to retain 1,000 members. And that's just 100,000 a month. You're not going to want to stop there. Everybody that I know that has even approached 100,000 a month, let alone past it, their next goal immediately became $1 million a month. Like that was like their first goal was 10K a month. Their next goal was 100. Then their next was $1 million. Like people just tend to work in increments of 10, like 10x of what they were doing previously or where they're currently at. So like your next goal is going to be $1 million a month from 100K. So you think about how many members do I need to make $1 million a month with $100 a month membership? A lot. You need a lot. You need what, 10,000 members? 10,000 members you need to retain, paying you $100 a month. That, this is going on YouTube, so I have to watch my language, but that is a crazy amount of people, okay? That's a ton of people. And the only way you get that is if you become massive, if you become a household name. Like, I'm talking Andrew Tate status. I'm talking Russell Brunson. I'm talking Alex Hormozy. I'm talking massive names. Is 10,000 people a month retained to make $1 million a month consistently, or 12 mil a year. And you don't have to play business on hard mode to get big results like that. Like, that's hard mode. And people are, oh, well, I'll do 200 a month, and think that is a big jump. If that's you right now, that's not the jump we're talking about. Okay, that's not what you need to transition to. You need to think about it a little differently. Okay, because even 5,000 people retained a month is a lot. Like, and I'm a fan of, the reason I say that is I'm a fan of path of least resistance. Like, that's what I'm a fan of, is how do we get our dream outcome with the least resistance possible? How do we get there the easiest way possible? And the truth is, like, you need to combine the two functions that you've been taught to learn, which is high ticket products and recurring membership. It's just called a high ticket recurring membership. So I'll give you a couple examples of this in action. Like, this has already been going on, and these people have been quietly making millions of dollars serving their communities. First, we've got Cody Sanchez, her contrarian thinking, her contrarian community mastermind, $10,000 a year. I'm in that mastermind. It's a group coaching mastermind. We're all in Slack. There are weekly calls. You have coaches serving you. It's $10,000 a year. That also breaks down to like $833 a month. So she doesn't need a lot of people. Like, think about that. 300 people, right? And she's a big name, so she can get a lot more than 300 people a year. But even just 300 people a year, what is 300 times 10,000? I think that's 3 million, right? That's 3 million a year that she has in her recurring revenue just by adding 300 members a year. She adds there are way more than 300 people in there. So it's like, okay, she's probably breaking at least 10 mil, if not a lot more per year, right? Then let's look at Taki Moore with his black belt community. Taki, his program is $2,500 the first month, $2,000 the second, and then $1,500 every month after that. So you've got, let's say you've got 1,000, and I'm not in that community yet, but that is one that I will be joining in the next few months. But you've got $1,500 a month times 1,000 people, which I'm pretty sure he has 1,000 people or more in that community at the time of this recording. So that's $1.5 million per month. He only had to retain 1,000 customers, right? If we look at Alan Sultanic, is that his name? Alan Sultanic. He has NHB, Nothing Held Back, NHB Plus, and Fast Forward, I think, are the tiers, but they range from like $500 a month to I think like $1,500 or $2,000 a month, and he has a few hundred people, maybe over 1,000 mixed between those tiers, so he's able to pull in over $1 million a month or close. Not sure of his numbers exactly, but like, they've been doing this for years. Meanwhile, with two of my clients last year, for one of them, we acquired like 1,100 customers at $1,000 last year. One-time course sales, $1,000 on average. So that was what, $1.2 million, something like that, $1.1 million, something like that. And that's like, okay, but then we have to go acquire another 1,000 to do the same next year. If we want to double, we have to add 1,000 on top of that, or we have to increase our prices, which we did. So like that's why it's an average, but it's like we still have to go out and acquire all those customers, and then we start from zero every day, every month, every year. With another one of my clients, she was priced much higher still, of course, but I think we acquired something like 300 customers at $4,000 last year, and it's like, okay, you made like 800K, but we still had to go acquire another 300, 400, up into 1,000. Like we're starting from zero. Like, do you see the fundamental problem there that was baked into selling courses and one-time products and experiences anyway? So when you get into this high ticket recurring coaching, you can get your business much further along with a lot less people, which, back to like why you might be burned out by the idea of a membership, is like, oh, I have to constantly deliver. Yes, you do have to constantly deliver. That part is true. However, and my friend helps me with this frame sometimes when I get pigeonholed, it's not you that has to constantly deliver. It's your company that has to constantly deliver. So the faster you can enable other people in your company, and if you don't have company yet, like if you're only working with you and an assistant, then like that's something that you're going to want to build. And to build that and to be able to afford that, you're going to want to have reliable checks cashing every month, right? So this benefits you in that way too, but it gives you the capital to hire people that can be coaches in your business, and not just having a VA take your course and then act as a coach. No, hire actual professor level coaches in your business, people who are experienced in what you do and who you can pay a handsome salary or hourly rate to show up and coach in your business, right? You can do that with high ticket recurring coaching because you have huge cash flow for every client you get. And let's say you're selling on webinars like I do with my clients, right? It's not significantly harder to sell someone into a $1,500 a month coaching program compared to a $4,000 course. Like, it's not significantly harder. Like, the conversion rate isn't a huge difference, right? But you get way more leverage than if you sell a $100 a month or a $200 a month coaching membership and a couple one-time courses. Like, you get the cash flow, and then as long as you focus on, you continue to acquire customers, but then you put a bunch of focus on retaining customers, and they keep paying you every month, and then it just stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. And that's something that AI can't really replace, is like taking somebody with experience and having them in the room with you, even if it's virtually, having them in the room with you, helping you move through the phases. That's coaching. When you have think about when you were a kid or even as an adult now, like you have a soccer coach, like you show up to practice and they move you through the phases so you can get better year over year, right? Same thing if you played football or any other sport or any intellectual competition or any competition at all with a coach. Like, that's what they do. That's your job now. AI has taken the information part already. Your superpower is not in information, it's your ability to move people through the phases and get them to their desired outcome. So that's your path to get there. That's your way to withstand the development of AI, because guys, the way it's looking right now, it only looks like it's going to erode the information space more. So you need to get out of information and get into coaching as fast as you can. It's literally just change your offer to be like, have your courses still, but have them as a part of joining the community. Like when I sent my $10,000 wire to Cody Sanchez's company, I also got access to the course. And how they actually framed it was for me to go through the course first so I could understand all the core concepts and then jump into the community and like attend the coaching calls and blah blah blah. So like that was actually super helpful for me, and I made a lot of progress in a short amount of time in terms of understanding how do I buy Main Street businesses and what are the valuable things for me to look at. Am I an expert in the first year? No. But am I a lot further along than I was when I started? Yes. And did I learn a lot more from being a part of the community that I definitely pay attention to because I pay a hefty sum for than I would like than I would learn in the countless courses that I have saved in my library, or even just taking that course by itself? Absolutely, I learned more in that community that uh, a massive bill comes out for every year. Of course, because I'm paying attention and I'm showing up to calls and I'm participating in the community and I'm reading what other people have to say, which is more than I can say for literally every single other community that I'm in that I'm paying nothing for, or that I'm paying $100 for. It's like it's not the same, and it's helpful, and it just means you work with less people. It means you're less accessible, and it means you make a whole lot more money. And the scale part of it that prevents you from burning out is stop tying yourself to the company. Like those are separate things. And your role in the company may be the all-star, the face, the lead coach. Maybe that's your role in the company, but you have to understand where that line is drawn so that you can have other people in your company fill in the blanks. Like acquisition.com's scaling workshops out in Vegas are $5,000 to attend, but you don't go there and get coached by Alex Hermosi. You get coached by his company. And then Alex and Layla take a couple hours out of a 2-day workshop to speak to you, which is extremely valuable. Love it, by the way. Can't wait till my next workshop with them. But it's like, that's okay for your company to be doing the coaching. You know, like that's how you scale it. If you have 100 members or 500 members or 1,000 members, instead of you being constantly responsible for fulfillment on the coaching, like have your moments for sure. People want to see you, people want to engage with you. That won't go away. But primarily, like train coaches, like train coaches, like inject coaches into your business, pay coaches to coach your people on your curriculum and help them solve their problems using their own background knowledge. The people in the contrarian community that are coaches, they don't just regurgitate what's in Cody Sanchez's course. They have real mergers and acquisitions under their belt. They have real experience. And so they can lean on their own experience as a coach to give you advice while also being trained on the same source material. So it's like, that's how you do it, guys. Don't let the internet convince you that your time in this space is coming to an end. It's not, as long as you really step into the role of being a coach.